and welcome to a new vlog and trip report, and today we are traveling with the Airbus A220 of Air Baltic from Düsseldorf to Vienna, and here on the map you can see our flight route today. We are starting at Düsseldorf airport, where I was waiting for my flight. I was arriving there by train, so I had a bit of time left. Here we can see the terminal building of Düsseldorf, and then I went to the restaurant Hausmann's. This is a restaurant chain that you will find at some German airports. They belong to a famous German TV chef, Tim Melzer, and if you see a restaurant called Hausmann's, I would recommend going there, because that means that even at an airport you can get some pretty good food for a reasonable price. Let's say reasonable, at least if you consider that you are at an airport. Here's my plane, Airbus A220, former Bombardier C series of Air Baltic, and after I saw my plane arriving I still had time to drink a coffee, because the gate was directly opposite of the restaurant, and here we can see this beautiful plane with closer. It has a registration YLABC and was delivered to Air Baltic in 2021, so the plane is only 3 years old. Here we can see the beautiful interior of the plane, which is surprisingly bright with white colors. Seat pitch is also pretty good. I'm sitting at the back of the plane, where the seat pitch is a bit tighter than in the front, and still I have enough space, and I'm 1.95 m, so space is pretty good. We have some nice tables, seats are pretty smart, and what I really loved about this plane is the TVs are back. I guess it's probably at least 10 years and more since the last time I had a flight with an operating TV on a short-haul flight, but here the small TVs are back. They are even smaller than before, but they are there. You can watch the flight map, they show the safety video there, so that's actually pretty cool. And what's also very nice about the plane is the size of the windows. The windows are huge compared to other planes. And then it was time for the takeoff, and of course we're gonna listen to the sound of the plane. Here we can enjoy a perfect view of Düsseldorf. See the city center in the background, the River Rhine of course. It was a very scenic takeoff, but then we were going through the clouds and there was not much to see anymore for a couple of minutes. So now I can explain a bit why I'm actually on this plane. I was working as a cruise manager on a river cruise ship on the Danube, and then there was enormous high water, so we had to stop the cruise and send the guests back home, and I was also joining the guests on the way back home until they reached the original port where the cruise was supposed to end. And then I had to get back, but first I went home, and when the ship finally knew where I could come back on board, I had to go back. My destination at the beginning was Bratislava. There are no direct flights from Germany to Bratislava, so I was thinking about taking the train, but that was nearly impossible because of the high water. The famous Westbahn in Austria, the most important railway line of the country, was closed. There were only a handful of trains operating, they had to use a different route, and the Austrian Railways was selling the tickets for an enormous price because there was a huge demand and just a handful of trains, so the prices were very high. Deutsche Bahn was selling tickets for much less, but they just sold tickets for trains that are already announced as cancelled on the website of the Austrian Railway. So in the end I would have paid less than for this flight, but I would have ended up with a cancelled train and had to take one of these few trains that were running, but they were of course overcrowded. So if I was lucky to get on the train, for sure I wouldn't have a seat, so I decided that this is too risky. And then I was checking for flights. Of course, also flights from southern Germany were extremely expensive. No flights for less than 300, 400, 500 euros. But then I found this flight. I was like, okay, Düsseldorf is quite far away, so I have to go quite a while in the wrong direction first. But then I saw that it is operated by an A220, which is a completely new plane for me. And then, of course, I booked this flight. And that's why I'm now on this beautiful aircraft. It's a flight from Eurowings, but operated by Air Baltic, which is currently happening quite often. Here we are already above the Czech Republic. We were flying north of Frankfurt, over the city of Bayreuth, and then over the Czech Republic. We just saw the city of České Budějovice, and then we were heading to Austria. Here we are already above Austria, close to the city of Krems. In the next shot we will see the city of Langenlois, which is one of the most famous cities for winemaking in Austria. A lot of the best wines of Austria are coming from this city, we can see here below. And here we can also see the Kamp Valley, which I was traveling through by train last year. And here we can see the Danube, still with high water levels, but they were already going down. Here we have the city of Tulln, and here you can see the fields are still underwater. And here's also the Westbahn, the railway line, which was underwater and closed. And then the absolute highlight of this flight was the approach into Vienna, because we were flying right above the city center of Vienna. At first I was a bit sad that I chose a seat on the left side of the plane, because on the right side was a beautiful sunset, but then I got this view and this was priceless. It was incredible to see this beautiful city of Vienna from above, so that was just extremely spectacular. I really enjoyed that. It was a beautiful sight. So it was the perfect ending for an amazing flight with a great plane, amazing crew, and yeah, in general it was just a very, very nice trip. And then of course it was time for the landing, and as always we are of course going to look at and listen to the landing with the original sound. So here is the landing in Vienna. So yeah, the landing was a little bit harder, but still quite okay. And as I said, it was a very pleasant flight. That's already it for this video. We will continue here at the airport in the next video. That's it for this video. Here you can see when the next one will be uploaded and the name of the song. As always, I'd like to say thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to comment, like, subscribe or share the video link, and I hope to see you in my next video.